Hey, what is up, YouTube? Welcome back to BMW E90 HQ. Behind me is my 2009 BMW 335i. And no, it doesn't normally sit like that. I had it on jack stands a minute ago, so that is why it's looking like that right now. It does have the sport package, so it sits a tad lower than a regular one. But today, we are going to be installing the car's first mod. Anyway, let's go get into this. So the first mod is here for this car. So let's go unbox this thing and get to installing it, hopefully. So this package is a lot smaller than I thought it would be, but anyway, I don't have the tripod, so I'm going to try to set you up on the bookshelf here where you can see. Hi, kitty. This is lightweight. So we have a VRSF aluminum charge pipe. So this is going to go something like that in the engine to the throttle body here, but there's more. Just hold on. So I got the new O-ring. I heard that it's hard to reseal the old O-rings to the throttle body, so I've got that. Got a new C-clamp because I heard the old ones have a tendency to break, so we're just being really careful with all of these. It's a nice little silicone connector piece here with something else in it. Looks like maybe plugs for the diverter valves. Lots of clamps. The lower charge pipe section, which I might not actually install today. I might just put it in the trunk just because it's a bit harder than the top piece. And some more caps for something. Anyway, let's go get the upper charge pipe installed. It should be the most straightforward and easiest mod you can pretty much do on these cars, besides like the dual cone intakes that I already have. But anyway, yeah, so let's pull out these intakes here. We're gonna pull them out. I don't know the procedure to remove the stock box because I've never had the stock air box. I also removed this air snorkel that goes right here. Anyway, so intake out, air snorkel out. And I guess the next step it looks like it's going to be is to go ahead and get these diverter valves out. Alright, so getting these diverter valves out is incredibly easy. If you see that little metal clip, let's focus camera. It's that metal clip at the bottom of the diverter valves that's right here, and the camera don't want to focus, but right there, you just twist it clockwise and then just pull up and they'll come right out. It's incredibly easy. So yeah, anyway, yeah, so that's out. So now the next move, I'm gonna guess, is to unclamp the throttle body at the C-clamp there, then disconnect it at the other end here. Yeah, I'll get back to you once I have the charge pipe out. So this is the factory charge pipe here. So it's got a very awkward design, really. Like, I don't know what this flat baffle, is that the baffle maybe? There's some sort of intake silencer thing in this is what I heard. Getting that map thing off was a pain. I suggest loosening this end first and not trying to get taking the C-clamp loose until you have the map sensor disconnected. It will make it easier, because I did it the other way and it wasn't easy because the charge pipe kept moving around when I would put pressure on the sensor to try to disconnect it. Eventually it did come out though, so anyway, I will now assemble the new one. What I've done is I've transferred the map sensor and I used the supplied screws and washers that are 3mm Allens, but I used a 7/64, yeah, 7/64 size, so that's standard size. It was pretty close. They weren't very tight on the stock setup and the stock charge pipe, so I doubt they need to be that tight on this. I just kind of went to hand tight plus a bit. It's kind of hard to get the map sensor out and in, but it's not like anything that anyone can do. The C-clip was a little confusing at first to me. It's really actually simple. Just line the sides of the C-clip up and push down and it will go in. There's no, like, I was trying to feed it through or something. I don't know what I was thinking. Anyway, and obviously you can see, so the inside of this is very smooth, unlike the stock one, which quite a decent amount of oil in it, but nothing too crazy. Attach this silicone boot after we put the charge pipe itself in, I think. I'm not sure which way I'm going to do it yet, but we'll figure it out. I think it'll be easier to do it afterwards, since the outside of this charge pipe is really rough and it won't be easy to twist it around. I do have some grease if it comes down to that. But O-ring goes right there. As you can see, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's a big giant groove for it. These meth bungs here are, they're 5 millimeters. They're about hand tight when I got this, so you're gonna wanna go ahead and get that and tighten that down. So anyway, I think this charge pipe's ready to go in. We can definitely clip it to the throttle body like right away. So let's do that. All right, so it's in and on. It is kind of loose, but I mean, it's in there. I mean, I don't know. I looked it up and people said that aluminum charge pipes sometimes are just kind of loose. So, I don't know. We'll find out at the end of this if there's a problem or if it's just normal. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep on with the process, because if it's just not on there all the way, all I'm gonna have to do is pop the C-clamp off and force it on harder. Alright guys, so I've got my charge pipe in. It was actually pretty easy to get in after that. There's only like, this silicone boot has plenty of space because there's only about like 1.5 inch gap. You can kind of even see it in it where it kind of doesn't have the structure that it has, like in the elbow there. That's all it is. That little elbow point there is the only gap. The rest of it, the pipes come really close to each other. I did use a bunch of grease to get it onto there. It does, and the wiggle room was completely normal. I've done several pulls and no issues whatsoever. Diverter valves, that I didn't mention that when I was doing the install because I didn't do it. If you see, I'm trying not to remove my intake right there. It comes with 2 little silicone hoses. They're really short, about 1.5 inches each, and 2 small clamps for each one, so 4 clamps in total. One will clamp to the diverter valve, one will clamp to the charge pipe. Well, they'll clamp on the silicone hose, but they'll clamp over that area. It's really easy to get this in. If you just basically want to point it, you know, towards the radiator and down slightly, basically, and it will go right on to the stock lower charge pipe. If you're using the stock one like I did, I didn't put my upgraded lower one in yet. There's like a line on the lower charge pipe where you'll line the silicone hose up to, and it almost lines up perfect. Not sure how well you can see right there. It comes pretty close, but it doesn't have to be perfect. And I really like having the dual cone intake. You can see the charge pipe pretty well. I do plan to upgrade these diverter valves. They're probably a failure point too, I would imagine, just if these are 90,000 mile plastic diverter valves. You know, I mean, it's tough plastic. I mean, but it's still got a hold. I'm gonna ask it to hold a lot of boost. So, yeah, no, that's basically what I'm thinking. So if you have experience, I was looking at Forge Motorsport diverter valves, or if you have any upgraded ones. I didn't get one with a spot for a blow-off valve. So I think that this charge pipe is about one of the easiest installs that anyone can do if you're even the slightest bit mechanically inclined. The only problem I had was that this clamp right here is not really big enough. It needs to be like just a fraction bigger. When you're trying to put it on, it's really hard to get the bolt over it, like without it popping off. And I had it pop off several times, and I had to take the belly pan off and find it. And I think that I might not have had the problem if I hadn't used so much grease on it and didn't have grease all over the place. But, you know, it was a little late at that point to do anything about it. So that would be one of my only complaints. And if you're gonna do this and you're worried about it at all, I would just go buy a bigger worm clamp because they're not expensive. But if VRSF, if you're out there listening, maybe you could in the future provide a slightly larger clamp for that side there. Alright guys, so the charge pipe is in. It's been in about 4 days at the time of this recording, and I'm very happy with it. If I had to give it a score, let's go ahead and give it a out of 10 score. I would probably go ahead and give it an 8. The only reason it loses those 2 points is just because of it having that wiggle room. Really, that's it. And that the clamps that go on that silicone hose They just really were like one size too small. They should have put like one, because you really just have like one turn of the thread before it will pop off or be too small to go around the hose while you're, you know, trying to get it in. And if you've installed this car, you'll kind of get this on your car, you'll get what I'm talking about. And if you used grease like I did to get the silicone hose into a good position, you'll really know what I'm talking about, because trying to hold those bolts with greasy fingers is not an easy thing to do. So 8 out of 10 though, because it got a good product that worked for a really good price. So that's why it gets 8 out of 10. Now, I've had it for several days, like I said. Now, the fitment issue has not been an issue. I pulled to red line several times in that time, especially right after I did it, just to make sure that it wasn't gonna blow off. I sat there in the carport and, you know, revved it up quite a bit, just so even to check it before I drove it. So that's no issue at all. It's really straightforward and easy. So do I think did it make any difference in driving now? That might be a question that some of you guys are asking. Tell you the truth, I think it did a little bit, but it might just all be in here. It might just all be, you know, psychosomatic. So I don't know the answer. I feel like I have a bit better throttle response. I don't really feel like it gave me any power, but it wasn't supposed to. This was a peace of mind modification, just so that I could, you know, drive the car and have peace of mind knowing that that stock charge pipe isn't going to explode on me. Now, I still haven't put the lower charge pipe in, so technically that could still explode. Although from what I've looked at online, it seems like that's a lot less likely to explode. It seems like the main breaking points are at the diverter valves and the throttle body, although the lower one is definitely capable of doing that. But I have it in the trunk, the replacement, and all the tools that I would need to change it. So worst comes to worst, I can pull over and do it on the side of the road. It's not ideal, but it's better than nothing. Otherwise, I'm just gonna wait till I have an intercooler to do that, because it seems like it would be a lot easier with the bumper off and, you know, stuff like that anyway, having the belly pan out of the way and things like that. It just looks like it would make it a whole lot easier. So I think that I'm gonna try to wait until I have that, and the intercooler should be coming pretty soon. I haven't ordered it yet. I'm gonna wait till I get paid again to do so. So, you know, look forward to that. I'm thinking about going with the VRSF 7-inch with the high density core. So if you've had experience with that, leave it below. I'm gonna make a video, actually probably as soon as I stop recording this video, about my future plans for this car. So you can check that out, and we can talk about you know, what my plans are for this car. It's nothing too crazy, you know. I think most everything's been documented that you can do with these cars, basically. Got an idea in my mind, so we'll see how that all turns out. Anyway, if you like this video, please leave it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and if you want to see some great N54 content, check if you need N52 information. Always don't hesitate to ask me. I know tons of stuff about it, as I owned one for about 15 or 16 months. And I have a great selection of N52 videos out there you can check out, and we'll be building a library of great N54 content. So subscribe for that, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.